In a quiet neighborhood, there lived a homeowner named Jake. He was known for his creativity and love for DIY projects. Whether it was building furniture or fixing up his garden, Jake's hands were always busy. However, one thing he struggled with was storage space. His garage was overflowing with tools, gardening supplies, and holiday decorations. Every time he opened the garage door, he felt overwhelmed by the clutter. One sunny Saturday morning, inspiration struck him. He envisioned a sleek backyard shed that would not only provide ample storage but also enhance the beauty of his yard. Excited, he gathered materials and set to work. The shed would be modern, with clean lines and large windows that allowed natural light to flood in. As Jake worked tirelessly over the weekend, each piece of wood came together perfectly. He felt a sense of pride as he stepped back to admire his creation. This shed was not just a place for storage, it was a testament to his hard work and ingenuity. Little did he know that this beautiful addition would soon attract attention from an unexpected source, the Neighborhood Homeowners Association, HOA. Their watchful eyes were on him, ready to pounce at any sign of rule breaking. But Jake knew something they didn't: his shed was built entirely to code. The sleek shed that Jake designed stood proudly at the back of his yard, perfectly nestled between blooming flower beds and a tidy vegetable garden. Its modern aesthetic featured smooth, vertical wood panels painted in a deep charcoal gray, giving it an elegant and contemporary look. Large windows adorned the front, their crisp white frames contrasting beautifully with the dark exterior. These windows not only provided natural light but also allowed a glimpse of Jake's creativity even from afar. Jake had chosen treated wood for the structure, ensuring durability against the elements and preventing rot. He topped it off with a slanted metal roof that gleamed in the sunlight, adding a touch of sophistication to the design. The shed was equipped with a small porch where Jake planned to place a couple of potted plants, further integrating it into his lush garden landscape. Each detail of the shed was carefully considered, reflecting Jake's keen eye for design. It wasn't just about storage, it was about creating a seamless transition from home to garden. The shed enhanced the backyard's functionality while bringing an air of sophistication to the space. Little did he know, this charming addition would soon stir up controversy in his neighborhood, drawing the attention of those who believed it didn't belong there. In the same neighborhood where Jake had built his charming shed, there was a powerful entity known as the Homeowners Association, or HOA. This group was responsible for maintaining community standards and ensuring homeowners followed a set of strict rules designed to uphold property values. Among the members of this HOA was Karen, a particularly vigilant resident with a reputation for her unwavering commitment to enforcing the rules. Karen had lived in the neighborhood for years and took her role very seriously. She believed that a well-kept community reflected well on all its residents. With her clipboard in hand, she regularly patrolled the streets, looking for any signs of rule violations, be it unkempt lawns, incorrectly painted fences, or anything else that strayed from the community's guidelines. Her keen eye had earned her a nickname among some neighbors, the Rule Enforcer. When Karen spotted Jake's new shed, she felt a familiar rush of duty. To her, the sleek design and modern features didn't fit with what she envisioned as acceptable in their traditional neighborhood. Unaware of Jake's expertise in zoning laws, she quickly took it upon herself to report him to the HOA, convinced that he had broken some unwritten code. Little did she know, her actions would set off a surprising chain of events. The day after Jake completed his shed, Karen set out on her usual neighborhood inspection. Armed with her clipboard and a keen sense of vigilance, she strolled past manicured lawns and freshly painted fences, taking note of each detail. As she turned the corner, her eyes landed on Jake's sleek new addition, and her heart sank. To her, the contemporary design seemed out of place in their traditionally styled neighborhood. The sharp lines, dark color, and modern materials clashed with the more rustic homes surrounding it. Karen's disapproval grew as she imagined potential code violations lurking behind the shed's polished facade. What if it didn't have the right permits? What if it was too tall or built too close to the property line? Without wasting a moment, she rushed home to draft a complaint to the HOA. In her letter, she expressed her concerns about the shed's aesthetics and potential zoning breaches, urging the committee to take immediate action. She knew that a well-regulated community was vital for maintaining their property values, and she believed it was her duty to ensure that no one stepped out of line. As Karen mailed her complaint, she felt a sense of satisfaction, believing she was protecting her neighborhood. Little did she know that her actions would soon lead to a surprising twist involving Jake's hidden expertise and the truth behind his shed. Later that week, Jake received a notification from the HOA regarding a complaint about his newly built shed. As he read through the letter, he couldn't help but chuckle. He was surprised that someone would take such an interest in his project, and even more amused that it was Karen, known for her strict enforcement of community rules. Jake recognized her name immediately. She was always patrolling the neighborhood, clipboard in hand, looking for anything that might not meet the standards she held dear. While he understood her intentions to keep the community looking its best, he also felt a sense of pride in knowing that his shed was perfectly compliant with all local zoning laws. With a smirk on his face, Jake decided to respond to Karen's complaint in a way that would highlight both his expertise and his sense of humor. He gathered the necessary documents, including the printed copy of the legal zoning exemption, and carefully crafted a handwritten note. In it, he wrote, "Better luck next time," intending to lighten the mood while also making it clear that he had followed every regulation. As he prepared to deliver his response, Jake felt a mix of amusement and anticipation. He knew this exchange would not only surprise Karen but also serve as an important reminder about understanding the rules before jumping to conclusions. As Jake prepared his response to the HOA, he couldn't help but reflect on the unique position he was in. It was not just that he had built a beautiful shed, he also had a well-rounded understanding of building codes and zoning regulations. Working in the city zoning department for several years had equipped him with the knowledge needed to navigate the complexities of local laws. Jake often encountered homeowners who were unaware of their rights and responsibilities regarding construction projects. This experience fueled his passion for DIY projects, as he enjoyed helping others while ensuring everything was compliant with city regulations. He knew the ins and outs of what could be built and where, making him confident in his choices when designing his sleek shed. In fact, before even starting the project, Jake meticulously reviewed all required permits and guidelines that would apply to his shed. He ensured that it adhered to height restrictions, property lines, and aesthetic standards established by the city. This wasn't just a personal endeavor, it was also an opportunity to showcase how a modern design could exist harmoniously within a traditional neighborhood. With this expertise behind him, Jake felt a renewed sense of amusement at Karen's complaint. He realized that while she might have been trying to uphold community standards, her lack of understanding about zoning laws would only make his response more impactful. Before sending his response to the HOA, Jake decided to conduct a thorough review of all necessary zoning codes related to his shed. He wanted to ensure that every aspect of his construction was completely above board. Sitting at his desk, he spread out various documents, zoning ordinances, permits, and even diagrams outlining height restrictions and property setbacks. With a keen eye, Jake compared the specifications for his shed against these regulations. He confirmed that the dimensions of the structure adhered to the maximum height allowed for accessory buildings and that it was situated well within the required distance from both his property line and neighboring homes. He also verified that its design met aesthetic standards established by the city. As he reviewed the codes, Jake felt a growing sense of pride in his work. He had not only created a practical storage solution but one that respected the guidelines meant to maintain neighborhood harmony. It wasn't just luck that brought him to this point, it was a culmination of his knowledge and meticulous planning. With everything checked off on his list, Jake felt reassured in submitting both the printed zoning exemption and his light-hearted note to Karen. Her complaint seemed even more misplaced now. He couldn't wait to see her reaction when faced with evidence of compliance. After carefully reviewing the zoning codes and ensuring his shed was compliant, Jake knew he needed to back up his confidence with concrete evidence. He walked over to his printer, feeling a sense of satisfaction as he prepared to print the legal zoning exemption that confirmed the shed met all city guidelines. The exemption was a formal document outlining the specifics of what could be built in their area, and Jake had made sure he was well within all parameters. As the printer whirred to life, Jake reflected on how important this document was. It wasn't just a piece of paper, it was proof that he had done his homework and followed the rules. He imagined Karen's face when she saw the exemption, realizing that her complaints were unfounded. Once the paper emerged, crisp and official-looking, he placed it neatly alongside his handwritten note. He carefully read over both documents to ensure everything was clear and easy to understand. With a smirk on his face, he felt ready to deliver his message. Feeling a mix of excitement and anticipation, Jake folded the documents and tucked them into an envelope. He knew this was more than just a response, it was an opportunity to educate and perhaps even change perceptions about modern designs within their neighborhood. With everything ready, he headed out to make his delivery. As Jake carefully folded the printed zoning exemption, he decided that it needed a personal touch to accompany it. He wanted his response not just to inform, but also to have a light-hearted flair that would show he wasn't taking the situation too seriously. After all, while he understood the importance of community rules, he also believed that humor could ease tensions. He picked up his favorite pen and began to write a short note on a clean piece of stationery. "Dear Karen," he started, chuckling to himself as he crafted the words. He wanted to strike the right balance between friendly and cheeky, so he wrote, "I appreciate your dedication to maintaining our neighborhood standards, but I assure you that my little shed is fully compliant." With a playful grin, he added the line that would surely catch her attention, "Better luck next time." He imagined Karen reading his note and hoped it would make her smile instead of scowl. Satisfied with his handwritten message, Jake slipped it into the envelope alongside the printed exemption. He felt a surge of confidence as he sealed it, knowing he was taking an opportunity not just to respond but also to communicate in a way that might invite more dialogue than conflict. With everything ready, he was eager to see how this playful exchange would unfold. As Jake stood at his front door, envelope in hand, he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The time to deliver his printed zoning exemption and cheeky note to the HOA had finally come. He replayed the events leading up to this moment in his mind, the building of the shed, Karen's complaint, and his thoughtful response. Each step brought him to this pivotal moment. Jake took a deep breath, invigorated by the anticipation of what might happen next. He imagined Karen's expression as she read through the documents. Would she be surprised? Would she realize that her concerns were unfounded? The thought made him smile. He took a few moments to gather his thoughts before stepping outside, ready to walk to the HOA's office. On his way, he noticed how vibrant his yard looked with colorful flowers blooming and the sleek lines of his shed standing proudly against the blue sky. It felt like a stark contrast to the tension he expected at the HOA office, and he hoped that his light-hearted approach would ease some of that tension. As he walked down the street, Jake could feel his heart racing with every step. He was eager not only to present his case but also to bridge a better understanding within the community about embracing modern designs alongside traditional aesthetics. This was more than just about compliance, it was about fostering a spirit of cooperation and conversation among neighbors. As Jake arrived at the HOA office, he paused for a moment to gather his thoughts. The door swung open, and a familiar face appeared, Karen. Her expression shifted from surprise to apprehension as she recognized him holding the envelope. He could sense her unease, and it only fueled his resolve to handle the situation with a mix of humor and professionalism. "Hey there, Karen," Jake called cheerfully, trying to lighten the mood. As he approached her desk, he noticed her tense posture, like a tightly wound spring ready to snap. "I'm here about my shed," he added with a friendly grin, handing over the envelope without hesitation. "Jake," she began, but he could see that she was unsure how to proceed. The unexpected turn of events was palpable in the air between them. With careful precision, Jake pointed out that inside the envelope was not only his printed zoning exemption but also the note he wrote just for her. "I thought you might appreciate this," he said lightheartedly. As Karen opened the envelope and began reading his note, Jake felt his heart race with anticipation. Would she find it funny? Would it diffuse any tension? He watched her reactions closely, hoping for a smile or at least a hint of understanding as she navigated through his words. This was more than just compliance, it was a chance for connection through laughter and learning. As Karen read through the contents of the envelope, her initial surprise morphed into flustered disbelief. The printed zoning exemption confirmed everything she had questioned, and as she glanced at Jake, she felt a wave of mixed emotions wash over her. On one hand, she was irritated that she had jumped to conclusions about his shed, on the other hand, she couldn't help but admire Jake's proactive approach and clever humor. Better luck next time, she murmured under her breath, the handwritten note making its way through her mind. It stung a little, yet there was something oddly refreshing about Jake's response. It wasn't just a rebuttal, it was an invitation to engage in a more constructive conversation about community standards and creativity. Karen could see that Jake was not just a homeowner but someone genuinely invested in enhancing the neighborhood's aesthetics. As she processed this realization, she felt both impressed by his knowledge and somewhat embarrassed by her earlier actions. The walls of defensiveness she often built around herself began to crumble slightly, allowing for a change in perspective. "Okay, Jake," Karen finally said, managing a small smile. "Let's discuss how we can maintain our community standards while also embracing different styles." The moment felt pivotal, perhaps this would lead to better understanding between them and spark positive changes within the HOA. In the days that followed Jake's humorous encounter with Karen, word of the incident spread throughout the neighborhood. Homeowners began to share stories about their own experiences with the HOA, leading to lively discussions at local gatherings and community meetings. People chuckled as they recounted Karen's initial shock and Jake's clever note, sparking a newfound camaraderie among neighbors who had always been wary of the strict regulations. Some residents joked about putting up their own, modern, structures just to see if they could elicit a similar response from the HOA. Others took it as an opportunity to learn more about their rights regarding building codes and zoning laws. The incident had unexpectedly turned into a moment of levity that prompted everyone to reevaluate how they viewed community standards. However, it wasn't just humor that emerged from this situation, there was also a genuine interest in fostering communication within the neighborhood. As people discussed Jake's shed, they began advocating for more flexibility in design choices while still maintaining property values. With Karen now open to embracing different styles, the community felt empowered to express their ideas without fear of reprimand. What started as a complaint transformed into an engaging dialogue about creativity and cooperation, reminding everyone that sometimes a little humor can bridge gaps and build stronger connections among neighbors. In the aftermath of the incident, the neighborhood experienced a refreshing shift in how residents viewed their HOA and its regulations. What had initially been a potential conflict transformed into an enlightening opportunity for growth and understanding. Homeowners began to engage more actively with the zoning codes that governed their properties, realizing that knowledge was power. They learned about their rights, responsibilities, and the importance of open communication with the HOA. The humorous exchange between Jake and Karen became a catalyst for change, encouraging neighbors to share their ideas about home designs without fear of reprimand. Community meetings became more vibrant, filled with constructive debates about how to balance traditional aesthetics with modern creativity while still preserving property values. As laughter echoed through local gatherings, residents found common ground in their experiences, fostering camaraderie that had previously been absent. The incident not only provided levity but also served as a reminder that collaboration could lead to innovative solutions that benefit everyone. Ultimately, this experience reinforced the idea that regulations exist for a reason but should evolve alongside the community's needs. By embracing both humor and education, neighbors learned to approach HOA interactions with a lighter heart and an informed perspective, paving the way for a more cohesive and understanding neighborhood dynamic.